Tom, straight back here. I'd like Tom and also Oscar and maybe Triple G to address this question. Like Oscar was saying, you and Canelo put on an absolutely fantastic fight. Maybe a Fight of the Year candidate. Unfortunately, we're sitting in a press conference talking about a bad scorecard. What do you think about that as far as the way the public reacts? They see a great fight, everybody's excited, and then they hear that scorecard and they're disgusted. Bob, I talked to you already. I'd like to hear from Oscar and Tom.
That's what I just asked him.
Okay, no, I got you.
You heard me say it. 118, 110 is not, you know, people are scratching their heads. People are confused. What I mentioned was that I did see Canelo win 7-5. It was a close fight, yes it was. And I do have to admit, in front of Bob here, that 118, 110, and Bob is not the judge, but 118, 110, yes, it was a bit widespread. But what I am hearing, chatter and social media, I'm hearing, look, it was a close fight. It was a great fight, actually, because we haven't seen this type of action in such a long time. Did that answer your question?
I'd like to hear Tom's perspective on that. Just that instead of just only talking about the greatness of the fight, we're talking about the scorecards that people disagree with severely.
No, you're right, Dan. It was a terrific fight. Both fighters need to get credit for fighting each other and putting on that type of performance. But you know, if she had scored it, or if that judge had scored it, that same score for Triple G, you know, it wouldn't have been that way either. So, you know, scoring it that wide for Canelo, I think it takes away from a lot of the performance of the two fighters in the ring. And frankly, it's just not good for the sport of boxing. Luckily, the other two judges, you know, it was close. It could have gone either way, but I mean, I personally had it similar to the way HBO had it, and we had Gennady winning by a few rounds. But you know, like I said before, he's a champion, and he'll be happy to defend his titles many more times. Did you want to also get Gennady's perspective on that?
No, I saw computer, all total punches. I saw reaction, people reaction, you know. For this, the judges, you know, it's terrible. For me, this is terrible, no, just, this is not correct, you know, this is very bad for sport.
Microphone, dude. Jesus.
That's fine. What's your question?
This is for Tom. Would you guys prefer to have a rematch in the Garden?
You know, that really depends. This was Gennady's first time up here in Las Vegas. I don't think it's the location so much as, you know, the judges. We think Kenny Bayless did a terrific job, fine job between two, you know, combatants that were throwing big punches, and I think Kenny broke them correctly at the right times. He didn't let either fighter hold, and he kept the action flowing. So we have to give him a lot of credit. You know, Gennady's fought in Madison Square Garden 6 times. He always feels very comfortable there. But you know, when we made this fight, when I was negotiating with Oscar, you know, Gennady told me, doesn't matter where the fight is, just give me the ring and get me Canelo, and he'll take the fight. So I'm sure it'll be the same attitude that he has for the rematch, and then we'll just have to, you know, maybe check the judges a little bit closer, just depending on where the fight is.
Thank you, guys. Michael Montero again. I'm sorry, I'm going to be a broken record. This question is for Mr. Bob Bennett. Same question. Sir, with all due respect, we've had several controversial scores here in Nevada in recent years. Rarely anything is done. Obviously, this was not a 10 rounds to 2 fight. This was a close fight. Neither fighter won more than 7 or 8 rounds.
Is there going to be anything done about Judge Adelaide Bird? Will there be an investigation? Maybe you'll sit down with her, watch the fight again, have her rescored? What's the plan?
Well, first of all, I want to congratulate both fighters and both promoters. I think the fight was very competitive. Why don't you just be patient for a second instead of waving your hand? You're asking me a question. I take full responsibility and accountability for my team, okay? Adelaide Bird has had over 115 championship fights or elimination bouts. Unfortunately, tonight, she didn't do well. She was off the mark, you know? So
It's not the first one.
well, I beg to differ with you. If you go ahead and look at her the last 3 years, for every fight that she's had, you will find that she's very close to scoring every fight correctly. I have looked at her record over the last 3 years. I've got the records from Fight Facts. So if you've looked at her, then you tell me if I'm wrong.
I think there have been several fights in recent years that fans who are spending hundreds, sometimes thousands of dollars for these fights feel this scoring is not adequate. And in this situation where you had two judges score a close fight, which is what 22,000 people saw, millions of people at home, and one judge saw it 10 rounds to 2, I think what we want, sir, and I'm not trying to be a pain in the butt, I'm just asking, what will be done about this because it's not the first time? Is there a plan to work with some of these judges to find out what they're missing that millions of other people are seeing? Because neither fighter won more than 8 rounds tonight. That's all I'm asking, sir. This 10 rounds to 2 is just a little too wide. A lot of people here are scared to say what I'm saying. I might lose a press credential for the rematch for saying this. But I'm asking what millions of fans, I'm doing my job because a lot of people want me to ask these questions that a lot of people here are scared to ask. I just want to know what will be done. Is there a plan?
Yeah, of course there's a plan. I'll go over the fight with Adelaide round by round. She'll have to articulate to me what she saw, how she saw her, why she scored each round the way she did, and then we'll continue to move forward from there. There's not one person sitting in this audience that, in whatever their profession is, haven't had a bad night. She was off her mark tonight. So we will take appropriate action. We'll go over the fight. We'll look at it round by round, like I said, and we'll continue to move forward. But by and large, I can tell you, we train very hard here. We prepare for the fights. I do a lot of background before I make my recommendations to the chairman and the commissioners for the officials. And unfortunately, and I'm responsible for it, that Adelaide had a bad night.
Thank you, sir. Thank you.
Not at all. My pleasure. I should be asked those questions.
I just wanted to say we're going to have just one more question for Gennady because he needs to go back and take the rest of his test. Yeah, so we'll do Chris's question.
Just Gennady, for Gennady and Abel, you guys had a lot of confidence coming into this fight that you could control it, that you would win comfortably. It seemed like when you were talking before the fight. For both of you, did Canelo surprise you in any way? Anything that he was able to do that you didn't think he was going to be able to do?
I thought he ran a little more than I expected. But like I said before the fight, the first 3 or 4 rounds were going to be difficult for both guys, and we were going to wear him down as we did, and that's why he was running. We were going to win a fight going away by maybe 3 points, 4 points, something like that, or knock him out in the late rounds. But I expected him to tire out and to run like that for us to win it by 4 points, which is what I think we did.
Not a lot, Chris, not just. He talked too much before fight. He said that he's a true Mexican man, not just. I thought I bring Mexican style. I want a true fight, close distance, He knows he need only decision, only 12 rounds. He moved every round, moving, not stay, not just. That is a surprise. He moving, he not stay close to me, not front to me.
So with that, we'll turn it back over to
one more question. How you guys doing? Coach Anthony here with Behind the Gloves. First and foremost, I want to say congratulations to Gennady Golovkin and Abel Sanchez. Thank you to Golden Boy for putting on a great card. My my scorecard was 116, 112 for Canelo, so I don't feel like it was a robbery. It could be 115, 113. So my question to Abel is, because Abel said that Danny Jacobs is the second best middleweight in the division. Do you still feel that way, or do you feel that Canelo Alvarez actually proved that he may be the best, or in your opinion, the second best in the division?
I think him and Danny are very close together. I think Danny fought a little harder than Canelo. Canelo just ran a little too much today, but Canelo should be considered up there in the top 3, yes.
Oh, yeah.
So with that, we're going to wrap up Gennadi's portion. We're going to turn it back over to Oscar.